Tuesday. We are all here, or at least everybody that's important is here. Let's see if we can get some screen time. Got to wait for 30 seconds to pass. And of course, we'll get rid of the stupid ad at the beginning and all that fun part. So, okay, here comes the. Oh, no ad today. What do you know? And I forgot to put it on mute. So we'll do that. There we go. All right. Greetings, everybody. Let's see if y'all can hear me. I see a bunch of 5x5s, and I'm, of course, trying to look through my camera here to see everything because my computer's way out in front of me because y'all know what tonight is. So, been a while since we've done one of these. All right, so let's start with the day, and then we will wait for a few more people to get in here because I don't want to do this right at 8:30. But get into it. So if you guys have seen some of the fun stuff that's come out of Washington today, I guess the House has posted or introduced legislation, if you will, to promote a resolution that says that Trump did not engage in an insurrection, which is absolutely hilarious that they've got to do that. But there was a press conference today that went well over an hour. And I mean, you had, I think it was introduced by Matt Gaetz and Elise Stefanik. Then other speakers were Jeff Van Drew, the former Democrat from Jersey, my guy, Tim Burchett, Diana Harshbarger, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert. I mean, this went on for over an hour, and these guys just chastised the media for lying forever. So that was a good thing. The question, of course, comes up as to why the hell didn't you do this 2 years ago, okay, or 3 years ago? And said, but you can tell they're getting pissed off, and it's all because of this Colorado, Maine. We want to take Trump off the ballot. Okay, who is a threat to our democracy? Or the ones that won't let the people vote for who they want to vote for, right? As Marjorie Taylor Greene came out and said, and she's absolutely right, since January 6th, not a single person has been charged with insurrection. Not a single person has been convicted of insurrection. Yet every day, the corrupt media in the United States claims there was an insurrection in Washington, D.C. Okay. Now, last time I checked, okay, trial by media was not accepted in U.S. law. Okay. Last time I checked, U.S. law says innocent until proven guilty. The Democrats want it to be guilty until proven innocent. Doesn't work that way. Okay. Just going to be very interesting to see how this plays out over the next 9 months before we go to the polls, and to see how many corrupt politicians are tossed on their ear too, from both parties. Okay, because there's plenty of rhinos, Republican in name only. In other words, they're a Democrat who decided to put an R behind their name so they could get elected. Your days are done. Okay, it's about time to throw them all out on their ass. Then, of course, we go over to the Senate, which, of course, I talked a little bit about this morning with the immigration bill or the border bill or however you want to call it. Was it 4 times, 5 times the money spent on everybody else's border that was going to be spent on our border? Ted Cruz had a real good speech today, calling for Mitch McConnell to be ousted as the Senate Minority Leader. That the Republicans in the Senate, at least some of them, no longer want McConnell to be the voice of the party. Good, because he's a freaking rhino too. Let him go have dinner with Chuck Schumer, because they can pat each other on the back together and see how much they've screwed over the United States. It's about time we get real leadership in this country. Okay. Then, of course, we had the big bombshell that came out today, which made liberal heads explode. And that was Tucker Carlson in Moscow telling everybody that, yes, in fact, he is interviewing Vladimir Putin. And Tucker, in his 4.5 minute introduction to telling everybody this is going to be done, also called out the lying, corrupt mainstream media that we have in the United States and says he's going to get to the truth. As Tucker put it, the people in Europe know what's going on. The people in Asia know what's going on. But for some strange reason, the people in the English-speaking countries, Great Britain, Canada, and the United States primarily, you can add Australia in there, we're not allowed to know what's going on. We just have to pay for it. So that'd be really interesting. There was a poll I saw today on Twitter on who do you trust more, Vladimir Putin or Joe Biden? 3-1. More people trusted Putin. That's pretty freaking scary. That the American people, I mean, and obviously this is a completely non-scientific poll. It was just whoever answered the damn thing, whoever saw it on Twitter. But for much of anybody to say that they trusted the Russian president over the US president, if I'm Joe Biden, I look at that poll and go, it's time to retire. I mean, if the people hate me that much, I got problems. I saw some predictions today by reputable polling places. If the vote was held today, how many electoral votes Trump would get? 326 to 340. You need 270 to win. This ain't going to be a Reagan-Mondale election, but it could be a Reagan-Carter election. Joe should get his ass handed to him. And the more stuff like this comes out, and the more that the truth gets in front of people, maybe some people will wake up. I don't care if they wake up and go, no matter what you tell me, I'm not voting for Trump. Fine. Just don't tell me, no matter what you tell me, I'm still voting for Biden. Biden it will make Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton and Barack Obama rest easy when his presidency is done, because they will no longer be in the list, along with Herbert Hoover and Woodrow Wilson, as some of the worst presidents in history. Joe has already cemented that. As I've said many times, name me one success Joe has had. There is nothing at all Joe Biden has touched that has been successful for the United States. There you go. So that's the fun start for the night. All right. So moving on along from there, let's get into our little drawing tonight. And we are drawing for a Opus 2400 watt solar generator. If you guys saw the video the other day, in order to be a valid entry, you must have entered on that video, naming the state in which you live in, was lower 48 only, and your favorite spring flower. Okay? If I draw your name and you don't have both of those things, you don't win. Simple as that. Okay? The other portion of it is you must be present to win. And we've had this happen quite a bit lately, guys. So don't leave or jump over to your TV or something once I draw a name and it's not you, because we may go right back. Okay. I will draw the name. The person will have 3 minutes to acknowledge their presence in the chat. All they have to do is say, I'm here. That's good enough. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you all this for the umpteen millionth time. When we flip over to the drawing, do not make a comment once I tell you, and the moderators put in the chat room, do not make a comment, okay? There's, I don't even know how many people are in here right now, 2,300 people in here. I'm looking for one, okay? If you make a comment after I say do not, the moderators are going to put you in a timeout for 300 seconds. You guys know we have some new moderators. So new moderators, pay attention. If anybody makes a comment after I say it, I don't care who it is, okay? The moderators' comments that say do not make a comment don't count. Anybody else, you're out, okay? Simple as that. I'm very seriously debating on putting people, not a 300-second timeout, into a 7-day timeout after this, okay? Because I've been asking for this for 6 months and people still won't pay attention. So we will solve the problem. So with that being said, let me pull up the correct screen here and flip over the camera as we try to do that, or blow that up a little bit so you guys can see it better. All right, there we go. All right, at this point, do not make any comments until after I have drawn the name. You guys have all, I see Jacob has said it, Robert said it, Cat Lady said it, so no comments. All right, so in the center here, we have the link to the video from the other day. That is the only one that you could have entered on. So we will go to fetch. We do not include replies. Everybody gets one entry. That is it. We do not, or I'm sorry, it had to be a primary comment only. We also do not allow duplicates. Everybody gets one entry. So let's see how many comments we have. As this flies through, hey, what do you know? They stopped putting that pause in there, it looks like. It's moving a lot faster, so we'll see what we get. Usually we come up somewhere around 3,000 comments lately, so we'll see what we got. I figure with 2,300 of you in here, I'm hoping we have at least that. But somebody's going to go home with the generator tonight. Bye, Miss Red. You just lost your chance. Okay. All right, we have 2,255 comments. And Riverman, you are out too. Adios. Okay, picking our first attempted winner. It is UC Chrissy. Hey, Pinball, North Carolina here, and hyacinth is my favorite spring flower. That is a valid entry. So UC Chrissy, you have until 8:15 to acknowledge your presence here in the chat room. So we are looking for, I'm sorry, 8:16. It just flipped that quick. All right, Honey Prepper, you just got yourself a timeout. All right, looking for UC Chrissy. Are you here? Like I said, guys, if we are having moderators, you having fun there, I see. Okay. Looking for UC Chrissy. This is why, there we go, another one. Okay, guys, if you're not UC Chrissy, you're not supposed to be commenting. If UC Chrissy isn't here, you're eliminating your chance to be the winner. And starting next week, you will lose chance to comment for a week. So. UC Chrissy, you're down to 2 minutes, and we may have to pick another name. We will see what's going on. Watching and watching and watching. Do, and another one not paying attention. Looking for UC Chrissy. Chrissy, you're probably down to about 90 seconds. Well, I have a feeling we're not going to see UC Chrissy tonight because by now, even if she had commented just before we said anything, that the slow mode wouldn't have affected her. So I get the feeling we're drawing again. UC Chrissy, you're down to the last minute here. So I'm hoping you're here, but we're waiting until 8:16 and then you will be out of time. Da, 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 da. Down to the final seconds here, inevitably waiting for UC Chrissy. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. And we'll see what the clock says. Time stands still. And that's it. Sorry, UC Chrissy. We go again. All right, let's flip this over again. We'll get back to screen over here and draw another name. Karen Ogilvy, 5936. Howdy from Indiana. I love seeing the crocus peek up. That is a valid entry. Karen Ogilvy, are you here? And we will flip this back. Karen Ogilvy, you have till 8:19 to say you are here. And we will continue to wait. I had a feeling we might have this happen because we actually have more people in the live stream than we had entries. So looking for Karen Ogilvy for at least the next 2.5 minutes. And Karen Ogilvy is here. What do you know? All right. Now let's just double check. And I'm going to do this on my own. Make sure that the Karen Ogilvy matches. Yep, at Karen Ogilvy 5936 if you guys want to see this. So you know it's the same person. There, right there is Karen Ogilvy 5936. So this is the correct person. All right. Karen, what I need you to do this evening is email me your name, your Karen Ogilvy, your physical mailing address, and your phone number. I will get that over to the folks at Opus, and they will get the 2400 watt generator out in the mail to you here sometime this week. So congratulations. All right, let's move some of this stuff here so I can get back to regularly scheduled programming because it gets a little creative to do all this. All right, so let's get into what we got. Somebody said check the first name. I checked the name's good. Karen Ogilvy's the winner. The end. Okay. So I've talked to you guys about having different names between chats and comments. Not playing that game. If you had never fixed it, not my problem. Okay. Karen Ogilvy is our winner. Okay. Let's get into Q&A here. And as you guys well know how we do this, that's all we do on these live streams. You guys ask questions, I give answers. Or as best I can, because I don't have them all. If you have a question for me, please put it in all caps. Just like every other YouTube channel, makes it a lot easier for me to go through the chat room and find what's directed to me, as opposed to you guys having conversation amongst yourselves, which of course I wholeheartedly encourage, because like I said, I don't have all the answers and somebody else might. Okay, so go however you can. The only thing I do require is that everybody in here treat each other with respect, dignity, no being an asshole in here. That doesn't fly whatsoever. That will get you tossed out of here permanently. Okay. If you want to be an ass, you don't get a second chance. You just get banned from the channel. So that's how that one works. It's not a 300-second timeout, a 7-day timeout. It's a permanent timeout. So, all right. And Kent DeSaltel, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that. And we will get up to the questions here. And see, here's all a bunch of congratulations. And Thompson, somebody says, you see Chrissy answered and I banned her. Well, if she answered with somebody else's name, that doesn't fly. So, like I said, Karen Ogilvy's our winner. Thomas Seaban, how's your carnivore diet going? Okay, so I started on Sunday, and I'll kind of give you what my meals were. This has been interesting. I have not hit the keto flu yet. So Sunday morning was 6 scrambled eggs for breakfast. Sunday dinner was 4 pork chops. Monday was, what did I have for breakfast? I had 4 boiled eggs, hard-boiled eggs for breakfast, and I had 3 chicken leg quarters for dinner. Today it was 3 scrambled eggs and a 12-ounce piece of salmon for breakfast, and then it was 6 quarter-pound cheeseburger patties for dinner. So this is it. I haven't hit the crash yet or anything like that. So far so good. Mrs. P's right in there with me, going on along. So we are both doing this. Everybody says it gets worse, it gets worse, it gets worse. Okay, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm only 3 days in, and from a lot of what I've seen, it's usually day 4 when you hit ketosis. So that should be tomorrow, so we'll see, but I haven't had any stomach issues or anything like that yet. Okay, Heather Bray, the Houthi video they keep showing on the news doesn't look like a video game. I don't know what the Houthi video is we're talking about, so no idea there. Franklin Myers, how hard is it to collect seeds from cabbage? I wouldn't know. I've never tried. Yeah, I mean, if you let it go and let it bolt, you're gonna get the seed pods to it, just like any other brassica or whatever. But my guess is if you're growing cabbage, you're harvesting the cabbage, and at that point, it's done. So, with cabbage, just buy your seeds and make it easier. I mean, you buy a pack of seeds for $1.50, $2 or whatever it is, and there's 100 seeds in there. It's a lot of cabbage. I mean, I think I planted 30 or 40 heads of cabbage for this year. Now, of course, I'm eating meat, but it will all get stored as kimchi or sauerkraut or put on the shelves. And then when we can finally decide that we're going to introduce some of the vegetables back into our diet, I'll have it. North Whittington Circle Farm. Am I missing the veggies yet? Mrs. P is, okay, but she is sticking to what Mrs. P is doing more keto, where I'm doing carnivore. And so, but the leafy green vegetables she can have. So we got some cabbage and we got some spinach, and so she can have those. So that's kind of where we are. Checks to mix one. Thoughts on Tucker interviewing Putin? I talked about that at the top. D Freak says new users may not know to check usernames. This is not rocket science. You know as well as I do, if you make a comment under a video and your name says Joe Smith, but when you make a comment in a live stream, it says banana peppers, gee, should somebody know it's the same person? No. Okay, so they can go in and edit their profile to make sure it's the same. Comment under the name banana peppers or whatever. Again, one of the reasons to do that is because everybody gets one choice. I don't want somebody to have 15 different YouTube accounts to go enter contests like a lot of the scammers do, okay, and try to win. Then they're trying to scramble real quick to get back to the right login or whatever. No, sorry, it doesn't fly. The name has to match, and you saw what I did to make sure that it wasn't Joe Smith and Joe Smith 5906 to make sure at least it matches that way. But if it ain't close, I'm not going to start going, because then all I'm going to have is everybody and their mother say, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Because we had a couple of people say, I'm here, and their names didn't match. And it was more than one, so I don't think there were more than one person. I'm sorry, if your name doesn't match, not my problem. Not trying to be a hard ass, but I've said this many times, okay? And common sense says your name has to match. Your driver's license doesn't have your YouTube handle on it. So, make sure your names match. Caveman look, why is it so hard to follow basic instructions? You're preaching to the choir, brother. We're preppers, okay? We should be able to follow instructions extremely well. It's not like, well, gee, I'm going to can my food. Nah, that's close enough, right? Okay. This is what we do. We follow instructions. We do things right the first time. We don't make excuses. We do it, okay? And again, we saw in here so many times, I mean, at least 6 months, if not longer, I have said do not make comments, and yet people still do, okay? So like I said, effective the next contest, it will be a 7-day ban from the channel. And if you don't come back, I'm not going to shed a tear. Linda House, thoughts on the Berna as additional protection? I have no idea what a Berna is. So, guys, please give me a little context to what you're talking about, because like I said, I don't know everything. So please give me the idea of what, I mean, I don't know if a Berna is a knife, a brand of gun, whatever, a sword. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know if it's a brand of condom for that matter. Robert Bates's name in chat has to match name under the entry, no questions. I've said that for months and months and months, and that's the way it is. Whoops. And we shot to the bottom. Back up to where we go. Let's see. Frankenprepper. Should we stockpile 10, 10, 10 or triple 13 in 5-gallon buckets? Either one. I'm good with using either one of them, whichever one you can get at a better price. Okay. Some people prefer 10, 10, 10. Some people prefer triple 13. Either way, I don't have a problem with either one of them. Would I stockpile it in 5-gallon buckets? Sure. Usually the bag it comes in is good enough. I mean, I got out, you guys know, I told you over the weekend, Saturday, on a live stream, that I was going to get out, and it was time for me now to spread my coffee grounds and eggshells and all that sort of stuff. So I was out spreading all that. And where my corn went in, I spread all my nitrogen fertilizer there. And I mean, for that, I just use grass fertilizer because nitrogen is a monocot. It's a grass. Or nitrogen is, corn is. There we go. Learn how to talk, Pinball. So lawn fertilizer was more effective because I don't need the potassium and the phosphorus for corn. I need the nitrogen. So use lawn fertilizer for my corn. So I spread all that out. And that is a bag of fertilizer I've had for 3 years, and I just keep it in the bag in the garage, and as long as it stays dry, it's fine. So, Kathy WC, when will I start my peas? I am not growing peas this year. I have plenty of jars of peas, so I did not do, my rain gutter method of peas. I did not grow any peas this year. Mrs. P and I still have plenty of peas from the last 2 years. So again, this is part of me rotating my garden and making my garden plan. When I make my garden plan, one of the ways I decide what I'm going to grow is what I don't have much of in storage. You guys remember last year I didn't grow green beans because I still have plenty of green beans in the pantry. So I won't be growing again. This year I'm going to be growing very heavy on white and black beans, but I don't need green beans. I've got plenty. There's some things that we eat like everybody else, that we eat more than others. We eat tomatoes like they're going out of style. That's why I plant a ton of tomatoes. We eat peppers like they're going out of style. That's why every year I'm planting those. But we don't eat a whole lot of green beans. Sometimes, I mean, green, again, things are changing because of my diet right now. But I mean, green beans used to be something that we'd have maybe once a week or once every other week, okay, as aside for dinner. That was it. More often than not, Mrs. P was along the lines of a salad type, so I mean, not making a salad like you think of, but we'd have a side of radishes or a side of sliced tomatoes, a side of sliced cucumbers. That was more how we'd eat it. I've still got, I've still probably got 80 ears of corn out in the freezer. Okay. I'll still plant corn again, just because I like growing corn. It's probably the last thing I need to eat on a keto diet, because it's all starch and sugar. So not exactly what you want to have, but corn has other uses as well. I mean, would make good feed if I want to do it. But I'm going to plant corn this year anyway. I'll put some more away. I gave a bunch to PBJ. People like corn. Barbecue time comes along. I have friends over or whatever it is. I can make some corn. Doesn't mean I have to eat it. Kathleen Maddox, what seeds am I currently starting to plant indoors? I don't plant anything. Okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding the question. I don't grow anything indoors. Okay. If you're talking about what seeds am I currently seeds starting indoors that will eventually get transferred out, I'm hoping that's the question, because I don't grow anything in the house. There's not enough good light that comes into my house to grow in the house. My cabbage is in. My cabbage is about an inch and a half high now, so that's already moving. I finally got my broccoli going, so that is out in the greenhouse. And then not this weekend, but next weekend, will be starting peppers. Believe it or not, whatever kind of peppers you want. Peppers grow very slowly. And so you need to start them mid-February if you want a August harvest. Okay. Now, if you saved pepper plants from last year or something, because I know some people do that, sure, you don't have to. You've already got plants that are this big. But I won't have plants that are this big in the garden until May. So, but yeah, you need peppers are the next thing that get planted. Carolyn Robbins, how do I store my sweet potatoes? How I store them, we can them all. Okay, I boil them for about 5 minutes or so, enough to get the skin soft, because how sweet potatoes are all gnarly shapes. So boil them enough where I can get the skins off of them. Then I'll cut them up in chunks and I can them. Okay. If you want to store them as regular, like you'd store, so you have fresh sweet potatoes or whatever it is, some sort of root cellar is going to be your best bet. I showed you guys a couple of years ago how I've got my trash can root cellar. That works great. If you've got anywhere, I mean, preferably you want to be underground, because the temperature is constant. So, I mean, if you've got, I'll say this, a basement is a good place. A crawl space would work. You look at here in Tennessee, because nothing is in basements. I don't say nothing, but most houses are not. Okay, we have a crawl space under the house. If you're going to store them like that, make sure you put them in some sort of container, because y'all know as well as I do that the critters are going to get to them real fast. So put them in a plastic tub or a 5-gallon bucket or something. Separate them out with straw or with newspaper. Wrapping them up in newspaper loosely is a good idea. And then you can stack them in a bucket. Tony DG, how's the diet going? I already talked about that. Aaron Dunham, did I see Trump called out Potato Head to debate? Yes. And I love the liberal media response to it. Oh, sure. Now he's going to call out somebody to debate. He wouldn't debate Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley or anything like that. It's like, no, he didn't. Why would he waste his time debating somebody who was not going to be on the ballot in November 2024? I mean, we knew Trump was going to be the nominee a year ago. There's still people out there, I mean, Chris Sununu, who still think Nikki Haley has a chance. Okay. That's the brain dead population out there. We knew last spring that Trump was going to be the nominee. Could have started the campaign season there. We got to go through all this dog and pony show of, let's do a bunch of primaries and caucuses and everything like that. Like I said today, Nevada had the primaries today. Joe Biden's on the primary. Nikki Haley's on the primary. Donald Trump's not on the primary. Why? Because the primaries for the Republican Party in Nevada aren't official. They don't count. So Nikki Haley's going to go, look at me. I got 90% of the vote in the primaries, and go, congratulations, that got you exactly 0 electorates. Okay. Next week, Donald Trump will go up and go, look at me. I got 90% of the votes. I get all the electorates. Because that's how it works. It doesn't matter. You can play. Think about a baseball game when you were a kid playing t-ball or whatever it was. You played the practice all the time and everything like that. Before the game, you got there 15 minutes early. You played catch. Look at me, Mom. I caught the ball. Great, you caught the ball. The game rolls along. You missed the ball. Which one counted? Okay, that's pretty much it. So Trump wants to debate Joe. Joe, of course, is already coming out. I think look like he has nothing better to do. You're right, Joe. He doesn't have anything better to do. He's got the nomination locked up. You don't. Not that Marianne Williamson's going to beat you, but chances are, come summertime at the DNC, you aren't getting the nomination because they'll come up and go, Joe, it's time to hang him up. We need somebody who's got a better approval rating than 20. Home of the Brave. Should I be dedicating a percentage of my efforts, my garden space, to herbs and spices? No. I mean, if you like, oregano or parsley or dill or something like that, sure, grow it. Put it in a pot. Okay. I mean, an 8-inch pot is all you need because, I mean, things like parsley and oregano, it's cut and come again. Cut off whatever you need. I mean, unless you're planning on starting a parsley business, okay, you're going to need a couple of sprigs of parsley. Cut them off. Let the rest of the plant keep growing. It'll keep going. So, but whatever spices that you want, just put it in a pot on the back deck. Don't use the garden space for it because you're not going to plant that much of it. Vicky, how's the carnivore diet coming? I'm on keto and I've lost 5 pounds so far. That was funny. Mrs. P's like, how much have you lost? I'm like, honey, I'm into it for 3 days, and it's like, I'm not even bothering with, I'll look at a scale in 30 days. I'll measure my belly in 30 days. 3 days ain't, I mean, like I said, I haven't even got into ketosis yet. So, I don't expect results in 3 days. I mean, may I have lost a pound? Whoop-de-doo-dah. I got a lot more to go than a pound. 1 pound difference is not going to make, look, it works. No. When I look at 20 or 30 pounds, I'll be like, okay, now I'm making progress. Okay, same questions again. Let's see. Mike D, innocent until proven guilty. Since when? Hasn't been that way 8 years. Look at the red flag laws. Okay, I'm telling you what the laws are. I'm not telling you the way that the idiot liberals interpret them and the moron judges that we have. Mima Prepper 976. Do you and Mrs. P do any store shopping? Oh yeah, trust me. You guys have heard me mention like the grocery outlet many times. Okay, it's where we do most of our grocery shopping. Okay, uh, because it's less expensive. Uh, for those of you guys out west, or maybe I know it from out west from being in Utah and Nevada. Savers was one of my favorite stores to go to. For those of you in Salt Lake City, you know Deseret Industries, DI. I mean, God knows I furnished my entire apartment out of DI when I was living out there. I mean, furniture, TV, whatever I needed, it's like, okay, go there. Even around here, I've got Carm stores and I've got Goodwill, and there's many things. I'll go in there because a lot of times you can find stuff that you don't need to spend money on. That was there was a story last week or something about some woman who found I think it was a vase or something like that. It was worth like $10,000 and she paid $3 for it. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I mean, I remember going into Goodwill last year. I bought every cookie sheet they had. Why do you want cookie? They were selling cookie sheets for like 50 cents a piece, as opposed to what, $7 or $8 at Walmart. But what cookie sheets are real nice for is when you're doing your seedlings, you can put those seedling trays on a cookie sheet and it's firm. And so you want to move everything, it doesn't do this. Just little things like that. Finding books at the resale shops and stuff like that, thrift stores, is fabulous. Not exactly good for buying clothing my size. Okay, it's hard for me to find clothing my size in a regular store. I'm not going to find it in a thrift store. I have found sweaters and stuff like that before, or sweatshirts, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I find good prepper stuff. Even garden tools. You'd be amazed how many garden tools you can find in a thrift store, or hand tools. I mean, regular. You want a hand drill, hammers, things like that. Go look at the thrift stores, okay? Because you can get like three of them for the price you're going to buy one at Home Depot. Texas Mackenzie, can peppermint extract be used instead of peppermint essential oil for pests? I'm going to say yes, because I mean it's just a matter of the strength of it, but it's the smell that gets them. So if there's a peppermint smell around, they're not going to come around. Husker, is World War III imminent? Eventually, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say it's coming next week or next month or next year, but it's coming. I can't tell you when. Uh, Roger Simon, I've heard good real world results with carnivore. I'd say, I mean, like I said on Saturday, or maybe what I don't know, days run together. Uh, I've done a whole bunch of research, watching YouTube videos. I mean, you guys know I've got the meeting with the nutritionist on Monday, and so I was looking at the VA website. Of course, the VA website is talking about you need to lose weight, go on the DASH diet. Okay, the DASH diet is the food pyramid diet. The big part of the pyramid. Eat grains and eat pasta and eat bread and everything like that. So I told Mrs. P today, I said it's gonna be real simple. So I'm gonna talk to the nutritionist and say, this is what I'm doing. Not, do you think this is a good idea? This is what I am going to do. Ultimately, it's my body, my choice, right? Right? Okay. So, and I'm going to ask the nutritionist, do you support that? And if she says yes, then I'm good. If she says no, you need to do the DASH diet instead, my answer is going to be the DASH diet is what got me where I am right now and got 48% of the United States obese. No, I'm going to try something that works. Give me a recommendation for somebody who's going to support me, not try to tell me to do something that doesn't work. And that'll be my answer. Hedge 774. Pinball, look up keto raid recipe to ward off the keto flu. Thanks for the inspiration. I'm guessing that's a play on Gatorade. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I got electrolytes. I ordered some electrolytes through Amazon to come uh, there. I mean, I'm making sure the salt. This is actually, and yes, I'm filling these things up. Mrs. P's like, why don't you just grab another bottle of water? I'm like, the kitchen sink's right there. I can fill the bottle of water. This is 7 today. I'm like, I am drinking a boatload of water, but I know why. I'm not a big salt person, okay? A, for my blood pressure, but B, I've never been one to salt food. Well, now all of a sudden, so I get my electrolytes and stuff like that, I'm supposed to salt this food. And so I'm not used to this, so I'm drinking a ton of water. And I told Mrs. P, I said, you can tell I'm hydrated because my urine is crystal clear. So, but it is what it is. And she's like, good, that means your kidneys are doing their job. So, Indiana mom, any updates on PBJ? How's she doing? Anything new? I talked to her about an hour before, well, we ended our conversation about an hour before the live stream. And she has not heard anything from LMU, the local school here, as regards to whether she's in or out or whatever. But we know she's already got accepted to St. Francis up in Fort Wayne. So at least we know she's going to school somewhere this fall, which is good. The interesting thing that she told me is her, and again, economy, right? Now remember too, she'll be 25 this year. She lives in a apartment that is one of 4 in a building. Okay, so a quadplex, I guess, whatever you'd call it, or something like that. She lives on the first floor. Her cousin lives on the second floor. Somebody else lives across the hall from her. And then there's one upstairs, second floor, across from her cousin that's vacant. Her rent is $625 a month. She has a cat. The owner, she told me this evening, the owner of the fourplex has signed a contract with a property management company. And so they've got the emails, that effective this day, you can pay your rent online. And oh, by the way, we're adding $10 a month to your rent for these services we provide you. They're all bullshit, with the exception of, oh, now we provide 24/7 maintenance. Because, we've all lived in apartments sometime in our life, or probably most of us at least. How many times did you need the maintenance guy? Once, twice a year, maybe? Okay, so you're going to pay $120 a month, or $120 a year for that guy to come out once or twice. Okay, yeah, so it's the $10 is just a ripoff. But so she said that her cousin can hear what's going on upstairs in the second floor in that vacant unit. And she said, yeah, I've heard guys in there lately that were hammering or painting or something like that. So I figured they're probably replacing woodwork or, carpet, who knows what, right? And so they were waiting to see, and PBJ was telling me this evening, what they listed the apartment for now that it's ready to rent. All 4 of them are the same size. $875 and a $50 a month per pet fee. And I told her, I said, they raise your rent $250 and charge you $50 a month for the cat. I said, you move. She's like, oh yeah. Because remember, when she goes to school, she can't work. So she's got to pay for this out of her savings. Now, her cousin works at the same hospital. She's going to nursing school. So PBJ got on the same website, the same management company's website, and looked. Said, oh, here's a 3-bedroom house for $1,100. And I'm like, there's your answer. You and your cousin rent a house together, pay $550 a piece, split the electric bill. It's not like you guys don't have the furniture. You have 2 apartments worth of furniture. Each one of you guys got your own stuff. I said, that's what, she's like, yep, that's exactly what we'll wind up doing. So, but I'm like, can you imagine? I mean, this is, we talk about rent costs going up. 6.25. And when she gets her new lease, can you imagine they raised your rent 40% and then said, oh, we're adding a pet fee on there too, so your total rent goes up 50%. Enjoy renting that out. I mean, it's a 600 square foot apartment for 800 and whatever dollars, $900 a month. Right. Okay. That's more than you're paying for square footage in a house. No. And it's not like this is some fancy apartment. I mean, this is a college kids type apartment, it's got the bare bones necessities. Doesn't have a dishwasher, nothing like that. It's a bedroom, a living room, a kitchen, and a bathroom. That's it. Sarah say, what do I think our biggest threat is to Americans in 2024? That's easy. Liberals. Frankenprepper to keto, to halt keto flu. Add some pink, you guys got to do something with the spell check here, guys. To halt keto flu, add some pink Himalayan sea salt to your food and water during the day. That's like the salmon I was telling you this morning. I mean, we ate it like sushi style salmon. Mrs. P salted it with pink Himalayan salt yesterday, and then we ate it this morning. So, Grit and Grace says, I may not get keto flu. I never did. I'm hoping I don't. I mean, again, Mrs. P and I have a complete different. I didn't have the sugar intake. Okay, I mean, mine is carbs. If I cut carbs out of my diet, and I'm not, like I said, I don't eat the cakes, the pies, the candies occasionally, stuff like that. But me was the carbs, and her is carbs and the sugar. And so, if it's just from sugars, I'm not going to get it. Okay. But again, the next person, Anna Lou, says take electrolytes to avoid the keto flu. Well, that's why I'm taking the salt, and I've already got the electrolytes on the way. The Rush. What kind of comms do I have? You name it, I've got it. Okay, between walkie-talkies, two-way radio, CB radio, ham radio. The only thing I don't have is GMRS, or the old Army wired crank phones. If you think of Radar O'Reilly and MASH, that type of thing. No, I don't have that. Okay, obviously I've got a cell phone. Okay, but those won't work. But yeah. When it comes to comms, you got to figure out what your objectives are. What's the distance you need to cover? What's the security you need to have? What's the mobility you need to have? Every one of those is covered by something different. A walkie-talkie is not going to get me news from 20 miles away. A ham radio is. Okay. Ham is not as portable. I get it. You could have a Baofeng, a little handheld or whatever it is. Not as easy and portable to use as maybe a CB is. A ham radio or a CB or a walkie-talkie is not going to be secure as a two-way radio is. So just like everything, there is no one size fits all to comms either. Okay, what are you using it for? If you need to talk amongst your mag on who's on guard duty, reporting to the main post or whatever it is. A walkie-talkie may work fine, okay, because you're not worried about secure communications there. But if you're out on any sort of, let's say, recon, okay, you want to see what's going on out in the area, that you want to keep secure. We just had nuclear Armageddon. You want to know what's going on, for me, let's say I want to know what's going on in Virginia, ham radio might be helpful. I got to boogie out of here and go somewhere else. CB is going to be in my vehicle and ready to go. So, yeah, all of them. I've got all of them, and all of them have their place. Coco's mom, how old should fruit trees get before they should be pruned? Actually, the younger, the better. You need to shape them into your champagne glass type or martini glass type shape when they're younger, because you're not going to do as much harm to the tree. So, when you plant that tree, start pruning it into shape. You should have it done by the time the tree's 3 years old. Linda Bob says, get some electrolytes. I did. Stubborn Forever. Can you use 344 fertilizer for seed starter? Yes, that's actually what I do use, is an organic 344. Mix that in. I think I've showed you when I make my seed starting mix. It's the potting soil, it's the vermiculite, or not potting soil, but peat moss, the vermiculite, and then about a tablespoon, depending on how much you're making, okay? But my ratios are all in that video, of 344. So yes, you want to put a very, very light amount. You need to have something in there, because remember, the peat moss, there's no nutrients in it whatsoever, okay? The vermiculite, there's nothing in there. So once it grows, it has to have something. Yeah, Melissa Thompson Smith. That was how I woke up my morning this morning. First thing I saw, first words out of my mouth was, holy shit, this morning. Because the headline, as soon as I got up this morning, was Toby Keith died. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Okay. 62 years old from stomach cancer. If you read the articles this morning, he just did 3 concerts in Vegas in December. But, can you imagine 6 weeks after he's giving Toby Keith concert's huge for those of you guys who don't follow country music. But 6 weeks, 7 weeks after a concert at the most, he drops dead. Okay. The interesting thing, if you looked at some of the pictures in 2021, pictures that were posted, he looked like the Toby Keith we all knew. The pictures they had from him from Vegas, you wouldn't have recognized him. He looked gaunt, thin. He looked like a total different man. If he would have passed you on the street, you wouldn't even realize who he was. But yeah, as we get older, we're starting to lose more and more of the ones we grew up with. Hell, Toby Keith was 5 years older than me. Alex, what are the top 3 preps that I think are most important that are often overlooked? One of the absolute most is medical equipment and medical skills. You see a lot of preppers, they get in there and they focus on food and they focus on guns. That's where they start. And the fact that they forget about medical is scary. I'd say that's the number one thing that I think is overlooked. The number 2 one is one I think everybody has a false sense of security on, and that's water. I've got a bunch of cases of water upstairs. I've drank almost half a case of water in 2 days. Okay, just me. So, and this is also me filling it up from the tap too, as I can start to taste that salt in my mouth again. But that's something that people drastically misunderstand. They're like, FEMA says 1 gallon of water a day, minimum 6. Okay, when you start talking about cooking, sponge bath, okay, not taking a shower, washing your pits with damn sponge, okay, washing your hands after doing something, cleaning anything that you need to clean so you don't get diseases around. Yeah, 6 gallons of water per day. And the third one, what would I say the third one that people is most often overlooked? Medicine falls into medical again. Off the top of my head, I can't think of those. Those are the top 2 for sure. Mama Bear, do I have any spotlights on my property? And if so, what kind? I have motion detection lights all over the place. Okay. And there's on the house, they're on the trees out there, they're all solar powered. So, they work great for, especially in wintertime when I gotta let the dogs out in the morning before the sun comes up or in the evening after the sun goes down. And I got 3 acres. Dogs can walk anywhere around the yard, and between a nice Olight flashlight and anything else and all the lights that are out there, I can see where they're going. They're not a whole lot of chance to sneak up on the house if I've got somebody posted on sentry duty. See a light go off, there's activity there. Okay, so all right, it is 9 o'clock, guys. That is all for the night. Let you guys go over and watch Angry Prepper. Jason, I don't want to step on your toes. You guys have a good evening. We'll see you in the morning. Pinball out.